Just gone 9 o'clock then. This is Absolute Radio, Danielle Perry's evening show. And up next, I'm very excited to welcome Louise Wener from Sleeper onto the show. They've got their brand new album out called The Modern Age. It is our album of the week. We've been playing tracks from it, and it will continue to do so throughout the next few nights as well. Let's rewind back. Sleeper formed in London 1993, had a huge array of top 40 singles, 3 UK top 10 albums during the 1990s. You might have heard them on the Trainspotting soundtrack as well. They split in 1998, reunited in 2017, and now we have new material as well. Let Louise tell me everything next, but first let's rewind to Atomic from Sleeper. We've got new records to play from the new album as well, all en route. Stand by. It's very strange for me because I grew up in the 1990s, and obviously with everything that happened in the 90s, and then been on air for about 20 years, and now it's like I'm back in the 90s. Do you know what I mean? It's had this huge resurgence, but grew up listening to your music and going to your shows and stuff, and now Sleeper are back after 20 years with a new
it's
LP.
sort of a time warp, isn't it? It's strange.
It is.
It's strange for us too.
I bet.
Yeah, but we're really loving it.
Good. So you got back together again, didn't you, for a few shows, and then something that you said would never happen.
Yes,
happened. What was the night or the lunch or the drink where you suddenly thought, well, why not?
It was very much a spur of the moment thing. Not to be sad about it, but someone very close to me got sick really badly, was very ill, and I just had this sort of seize the day moment where I thought, let's just go and play again and see what that would be like. And it was just, and it was really life affirming and lovely.
Did you miss the road? Did you miss the studio?
I miss the studio. I miss performing. So if I was going to gigs in the last 10 years, I would sometimes get that sort of feeling, oh my God, I just want to go back on stage and see what it feels like again. But I didn't miss touring that much.
It's hard work, isn't it?
So we don't tour like we used to. We just tour weekends, because we've got families and kids and stuff, but it was constant. So in the 90s you'd be just going from America to Japan to Europe, and it would just go in this big circle.
Absolutely. What was your did you have any fears of coming back? Did you have to talk to the other half about it? You know, go, are we both ready for this? I mean, obviously,
it was almost 99% fear.
Was it?
Which is kind of why I did it. I think I did it because I was a bit afraid of it.
I
didn't know what it would feel like. I didn't even know if we could do it. So it was a massive challenge. I think that was what was appealing about it, really.
Absolutely. You find that, don't you, like the older you get, that you just think, I actually want to challenge myself again and feel alive again. And
and it was so far out of my comfort zone, I thought. To go on stage, and we sort of played Shepherd's Bush Empire at the end of that year, the first year we came back. And it was, just walking out in front of 2,000 people after not doing it for so long. It was such a buzz.
I bet.
It was amazing.
Did you have songs that you've been working on over that time?
We really didn't. So I hadn't done any music at all in that time. I hadn't picked up a guitar, really. I just refigure my fingers to sort of play chords and all that kind of stuff.
You have to go through the blisters again.
It's like I'm going to have to make the ends of my fingers really hard again and start dipping them in Surgical Spirit.
Exactly. But did it kind of, when you did pick up again and when you all got back together again, was it just as fluid, organic like this? Because it sounds like that on the record.
It took a little while. I mean, I think we definitely got to that stage quite fast, but there was a few sort of early rehearsals where we just sort of looked at each other going, this will never work. We can't possibly, it's not going to, we just didn't, it took a while just to get back off the ground, and sort of make it all sort of fix again. And then you have this moment when suddenly a song sounds really great and you get that sort of buzz, and that's what sort of makes you sort of want to carry on with it.
Totally. And with the album, which is your favourite track? Because I know sometimes that you get the singles that are played out, but I always ask this of people, and I try and squeeze it in to play it, because it's, if people aren't going to buy the album, they can hear something that...
there's a track called Car Into the Sea, which I really love, which is much more sort of mellow. And a track called The Modern Age, which is the title track of the album. And that's sort of about motherhood and all of that sort of stuff, which is not something that, not many songs are written about that kind of subject, so kind of that's sort of close to me. It's quite sort of personal as a song, so I really love that one.
Absolutely. Oh, lovely. I can't wait to play some of these out throughout this interview as well. When you take this on the road, because you're heading off in a few weeks, aren't you, around the UK, and you've got loads of supports with you, which I think is really nice, kind of balancing it out and giving a platform to lots of people. And now you're on your own label.
Yes.
Things have changed so much. They must have done, like the music industry from your perspective must have
was
being turned inside out.
It's completely different. I think, in some ways it's more democratic in the way that you can go and make your music and put it out there yourself, and you can communicate much more easily, so you're not waiting for everyone else to do that for you.
Sure,
the social media thing.
Yeah.
I think that would have been weird though back in the 90s. I mean, I don't know how some women cope with it. They get so much, stuff thrown at them. But for us, it's been really positive, just being able to sort of talk to people and hear those voices.
Absolutely.
And get that feedback.
Strange thing to grow up with though, isn't it?
A strange thing, so I'm watching my kids grow up with it.
Right.
Very different for me, obviously.
Definitely. I often say that because we do like a 90s segment, and I was like, I feel blessed that there wasn't any social media or phones or videos. It's
all
literally
the mistakes
just
you made, all those dumb things,
terrible hair, and those awful boyfriends, and all those things that you did. I'm so thrilled that's not.
I'm so thrilled. I'm really grateful.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that that's
just some awful Polaroids in a drawer somewhere
at your mum's in the loft or something.
Exactly.
Yes, new sleeper. Look at you now. This is Absolute Radio from the modern age. Out on the road. They were at Rough Trade East actually today. They're playing at the Engine Rooms in Southampton on Thursday night. And then in April, a few more shows. Kentish Town Forum, which is a great venue, Saturday 13th. Plenty more on their website. Check it out. Brand new sleeper. And part 2 of my chat with Louise en route.
Danielle Perry, Absolute Radio.
You just heard from Louise Wener from Sleeper. Here is part 2 from my chat with her, all about the new album, The Modern Age. It comes after this, a classic. This is Sale of the Century. Speaking of Britpop, that was such a genre and such a movement, wasn't it? Coming up to 25 years this year. What was your best memory of it? Was it like an energy, or the friends you made, or just the vibe? Or
I think that's the best way to describe it, was the energy of it. So it feels like it was always sunny. I don't think it was.
Yeah.
It feels like it was kind of this sort of very sunny, sort of positive. There was a lot of sort of optimism generally. It felt like an optimistic time.
Yeah.
And just being part of it, you very much became aware that you were part of a scene, and it was growing, and it seemed to be sort of dominating everything. It was for a very short period, looking back, really. But it felt very sort of vibrant and energising, I suppose.
I suppose it felt as energetic as when sort of the Beatles... I mean, maybe not to such an extent, but like in England and that kind of whole...
There was such... I mean, it was so under the spotlight as well. It was so talked about. In some ways, it probably wasn't as big as as the media around it. In some ways, there was that Vanity Fair cover with that classic one, wasn't there, with Liam and Patsy on the
That's
front.
right, yeah.
And that was never put out in America. It was only put out in Europe and the UK. So it's kind of, we had this sense. I think in some ways we had this sort of giant sense of ourselves that didn't quite sort of transcend.
Yeah, interesting.
To sort of the wider world.
Yeah,
maybe.
that is fascinating. Are you in touch with any of the bands that you toured with back in the day still?
No,
any get-togethers or anything?
Not really. And I think that's as kind of sort of sunny as the whole sort of thing is, it was very competitive as well. So there was lots of kind of sniping, and everyone was kind of sort of worrying about everybody else's midweek and the chart position and how many records they were selling. Although you weren't meant to ever sort of talk about that or sort of admit to it.
Sure.
But it was a very sort of competitive time as well.
Yeah. We're going to play some tracks from the record right now. If there was one memory from either like the writing of this or the recording of this or the mixing, whatever, that will always stay in your mind now as, sort of coming back in 2019, what would that be?
I just think it was the challenge of it, and sort of when I was just sitting alone on a sofa with a guitar trying to sort of wrestle a melody out and see if I could do it again, and then Andy came home and he sort of listened to the first song I'd written and he loved it, and then sort of went and sort of started working on it and adding stuff to it, and it's like that first time that something a little bit magic happens. It's great.
Perfect. Exciting. And albums are still important to you, because we've seen so many EPs sort of rearing at the moment, sort of like streaming culture. And
it's interesting because my kids just stream, so they listen to singles or just single songs rather than an artist, which is interesting, I think.
The Niall, who comes in from Q on this show sometimes, he reckons that there's just absolutely no tribalism in music anymore at all, because it's just you can like whatever you like, and that's why he thinks the 1975 have catapulted as much as they have, because their albums are all over the place, really, sonically.
I think that's really interesting. I think that's kind of what's quite sort of freeing about it as well, because I think even back in the 90s, maybe Britpop was the last sort of tribal time where you sort of belonged to Blur or Oasis or whatever it was, and now it's just kind of, it's not like that anymore. You don't have to sort of say I'm one or the other. You can like whatever you like.
It's like swipe right, swipe left, isn't
everywhere.
Swipe it away.
Up, down, sideways, diagonal.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
You too.
After all these years of playing your records on the radio, this is a joy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is the title track from the excellent new LP from Sleeper, The Modern Age. Thank you so much to Louise for coming in, taking the time to see me. And it is lovely to have them back, isn't it, on the airwaves. Still to come. Well, normally we dip in to our album of the week, but we've just been talking all about that for the last 20 minutes. So let's dip into the latest single from Florence and the Machine, which is a right toe tapper. That'll take us up to 10 o'clock.